On this episode of the Apple Watchers, everything announced at Apple's By Innovation Only event, including Apple Watch Series 5, iPhone 11 and 11 Pro, iPad, Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade, and everything they didn't announce. All this and much more. This is episode number 9. Welcome to the Apple Watchers, a podcast about the Apple Watch and more. This episode and every episode is brought to you by me and Jay-Z, aka Jonathan Zarko. All right, let's get started. All right, well, how are you? You were out of town.
I was. I'm doing good, but very tired.
Yeah, you're out of town a lot.
Yeah, it seems to be stacking up a little bit. But I was in Florida last week, so.
Okay, and it was good then.
Yeah, did some work session stuff.
Busy.
Yeah, but it was humid, but it wasn't too bad. And then apparently after we left, it just started pouring rain. So we brought the California sunshine with us and took it back. Okay,
all right. Well, I don't have too much to report on this end. You'll see that's what it's like when you're over 50. Sometimes there's not a lot going on. But we did have a
Apple event.
Yeah, we did have a big Apple event, the By Innovation Only event. So let's break that down and explain what was covered. So I have this in chronological order as they announced it. So Apple Arcade, they finally announced it, $4.99 a month per family with a 1 month free trial.
This is really cool.
Yeah, available September 19th in over 150 countries. And I had heard that it was starting to appear on some people's phones that are running beta, and it just showed up on mine when I checked today. I did not sign up. I might do the free month.
Yeah, the free trial, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
So it was just an app that showed up on your phone?
Well, it's in the App Store. That's where you can actually go and see it now, but it will say something different.
Got it.
If it hasn't showed up that you can do the trial, it'll just be there like coming soon.
So it's not like that album that they just forced onto everybody's devices back in the day.
Yeah, the
like
U2
here, have an arcade.
The U2 album. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, well, so you can go down and get it. That's kind of cool. And then you try it for a month.
Yeah.
If you play games, like this is a really good deal.
Yeah.
$5 for the whole family.
Yeah, it's a great deal, especially per family. This is great because I'm not a parent yet, but I would imagine a lot of parents, have their kids bugging them, buy me this game, get me this game. But that could add up. And then in-app purchases, that'll really add up. So $4.99 a month is pretty insane.
What I really like about this is it's gonna start curbing the whole microtransactions that have been popping up in games and all the other ad supported and stuff. Like now you can finally just have a game. There have been some games that I wanted to buy, just flat out, but they don't offer them. And so it's super annoying to, be playing and then it's like, well, you got to wait or you got to pay $1 or you got to watch an ad to continue. So.
Yeah, this will be good. And I think what I've heard is there's something like 53 or 54 games right now, but they're supposed to add more each month.
And they're not like small lame games. They're real games too.
Yeah, they look.
I mean, there's still some fun little things here and there, but there's some real meaty things in there.
Yeah, they look decent. I might want to try it soon. I know, like, I'm not a gamer. I'm just not, just not a total gamer. But I do like playing games once in a while on the Apple TV and using the remote as the controller.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind trying some.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested too in being able to use the Xbox controller for them as well.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
That's pro level gaming right there.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's anything more to cover on that. I mean, we'll wait and see to hear from what people think of it and what they think of the games that they have so far.
Yeah, I think this is going to be big for Apple. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm curious the breakdown of how they're going to pay their developers. Is it per use or
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm sure we'll see.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. The next thing they announced was Apple TV Plus. So, and we were wondering about this and how the pricing would go. So $4.99 a month per family, or free with purchase of an iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple TV.
This is incredible. So,
Yeah.
and genius,
Yeah.
absolutely genius.
Yeah.
Giving the service away when you buy hardware. It's kind of reminiscent of back in the day, classic Apple. You wanted the operating system, but you had to buy their hardware. Now it's kind of the same deal. You buy their hardware, you get their TV service for free for a year. Right, it is for a year, right? That was the whole deal.
Yes. Yeah.
And even an Apple TV, which is like super cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a good deal. They had to do this too because of all the competition, and I think I forget what the Disney service is called, but
Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's gonna crush. It's just gonna crush the competitors, and so they had to take a bold move, and make it cheap and make it free for people who buy an iPhone or these other devices. So
yeah. Where I think Disney Plus is trying to kind of encroach in the space that Netflix is in, they're trying to grab that, large library, kind of like daily use area, especially if you have kids. It's going to be huge. Apple TV, I think, is supposed to be kind of competing in the same area that like HBO Go is. So think, high-end, super eclectic premium content. But basically what they've told me is if they continue to offer it for free with the purchase of an iPhone, I'm basically never going to have to pay for this.
Yeah.
Because I get a phone every year, so.
Yeah, now I'm wondering too how this is exactly going to work, because is this free for 1 year, or when you get another iPhone, is it free again for another year? And they haven't really stated.
Yeah, that's the thing too. So the service doesn't come out until November, but the iPhone comes out in September.
Yeah.
So am I not going to get it because I bought my iPhone when it came out?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, because I didn't say yet, but it's available November 1st, and that's in over 100 countries.
Which is also really big. That's a big distribution. It's really cool.
Yeah. And we had spoken this before about the pricing and hoping that it was low. And I think they had to do this because they don't have a lot of content and they don't have back catalog like Netflix and Hulu. So, I mean, they had to do this. They really had to do this kind of pricing structure.
Well, I think they're also trying to make it so that if you buy all of them, it's not some, really big monthly payment.
Yeah. I've also seen some articles that say you can't stack the service. So in other words, if you put someone on your family plan and they get a phone next year, they can't start a new family.
Oh, and account for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out and see what happens. But that was finally announced. So we'll
still,
see.
even $5 a month is not hard to come up with. I mean, what was it? They had said, $5 like the cost of a movie rental, which totally is.
Yeah, yeah. So next up was the iPad. Now this is the lower priced iPad, just the regular iPad.
Yeah, the consumer iPad.
Yeah, the one they just call iPad.
Simply iPad.
Yeah, so now this has a slightly larger 10.2-inch display, but in the same form factor. It has Apple Pencil support, and that's Generation 1 Apple Pencil only.
Yeah, I don't get this.
Yeah, I mean, it's very confusing. They should kill... we were in the Apple store the other day, and we were near the iPad section, and there was a man there that just seemed very confused about which
Yeah.
iPad to get and which one he had at home and how it compares to which one. So, yeah, it'd be great if they kind of sorted it out and they only had one Apple Pencil, you know.
Or at
This
the
one
very
is,
least, just change the form factor of the Gen 1 Apple Pencil so that it doesn't have to stick out like a tail
yeah, yeah,
when you're charging. It seems weird. This is going to be a great iPad for consumers. I'm still interested in a Pro.
yeah,
I don't know about this one.
yeah. So they claim it has 10-hour battery life. It's now made of 100% recycled aluminum, and it was available to order right after the event, and then it'll be out or shipped on September 30th, and it's $329, which is
It's actually a great deal.
it's a great deal. Oh yeah, it also has support. It has the keyboard. I forget what it's called. The keyboard connector,
Oh yeah, the smart connector.
the smart connector.
Yeah.
Yes. So
So
it
that's
has
nice.
that now too.
It's like they put the smart connector on it, so it works with the keyboard, but they didn't put it on the other side so that I could use the Apple Pencil too. It just seems like
Yeah.
they're adding benefit to their Pro,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
okay.
So next up, the big one, the Apple Watch Series 5.
How
So
excited are you?
I'm excited. Yeah. I mean, I still think there could have been more, but I still want it. And so I am attempting to sell my current Series 4 Apple Watch.
I saw it. Your pictures
yeah.
are very professional looking, by the way.
Oh,
They
thanks.
look really good.
That's thanks to my iPhone.
Well,
So this one has an always on display now, which I've wanted. It's got a LPTO screen. Sorry. That's a low temperature polysilicon and oxide display, which we'll explain in a bit. It's now the aluminum model is now made of 100% recycled aluminum.
cool.
It's available in titanium, which is new, ceramic, which they brought back. One great thing is the Apple Watch Studio, which is the ability to pick your own band, which I think is great. They should have done it a long time ago, and I felt like there were signs of it coming because when I got the Series 4, the band was separate, which they didn't used to do in the previous models. At least in my Series 0, they didn't do that.
Yeah, it was all in the same box.
Yeah, it was all in the same box and was more like when you buy an analog watch, that sort of presentation. So, and that caught me off guard that they were available to order right after the event. I didn't have any downtime to kind of think about it. So, yeah, and that ships September 20th. They're keeping the Series 3 in the lineup for only $199.
Which is also really cool. But
yeah.
again, I wonder why they didn't just roll down the 4.
Yeah. Well, once in a while they do things like that, they'll kill certain iPhones.
It must be the price point, for them.
Yeah.
And for what they can offer. Seems like a better buy if they keep the 3. Because
Yeah.
that really is, like, you just want a smart watch. You don't need a lot of the extras. The Series 3 is great. But when you start wanting some of the other, key features like the always on display or the fall detection, things like that, you need the newer ones.
Yeah.
And the Watch Studio is really cool too.
Yeah.
It allows you to really customize and make it a personal item.
Yeah, I do want to point out because I researched it. So I've been wanting the Nike Sport Loop, the reflective, and I think they're all reflective now, if I'm not mistaken, but definitely the white one and the black one are. But I just want to point out you cannot get those unless you're getting the Nike edition watch.
Okay. So they still
there's still certain restrictions. However, I do also want to point out let's say you're getting an aluminum, just regular Series 5. You can get the Milanese loop. Now it retails for $100, but if you add that in the Apple Watch Studio online, you'll see that it's $50 more. So now we know they're factoring in the $50 for the band, right? A regular band. But it is an opportunity. If it's a band you wanted, well, maybe instead, it's kind of hard. Just $100. Oh, it's painful. But if you shell out just an extra $50, maybe it makes it worth it. So I just want to point that out because
it's incremental or revenue. It's actually really smart too.
Yeah.
So because that $50 is probably mostly profit for them anyways. When you factor in the cost of making the band and everything else. So if you can save the other band, and honestly, since I changed mine, I haven't switched it back. So a lot of people are probably in the same boat too, where they buy the band they want and that's it.
Yeah. I still like switching my bands, but I don't switch them a lot. I mean, I've heard of some people that just have like 100 bands.
Switching that every day.
I don't have that kind of money.
I don't have that kind of time to be fiddling with the little latch.
Well, it's pretty easy. It's definitely easier than I didn't mention I'm not wearing an Apple Watch right now.
You're analog.
This is no, it's a smartwatch, but it doesn't have a touch screen. This is the Nokia Steel HR.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and you can switch bands on this, but it's still it's a little harder. Some of them have like a quick release, but it's by no means quick like an Apple Watch. So they also back on track here. They also announced 3 new health studies, and that's the Apple Hearing Study, the Apple Women's Health Study, and the Apple Heart and Movement Study. So these will be interesting. Obviously, you don't have to do it, but you can opt in if you'd like to participate in any of these.
Yeah, I think this is really cool. The hearing study, particularly for me, I think is going to be interesting. We talked about this before.
What? What?
Which I think we had reported about this as a rumor, that there would be a thing that alerts you if there's like a loud noise or something. So it's kind of cool to see this actually come out.
Yeah. It'll be good. We'll see. I'm not sure if I would participate or not. I'm on the fence.
The cycle tracking, I think, is really great for women.
Yeah.
Helping them keep track of all of those things.
Yeah. And the Apple Heart and Movement Study, that actually might be one that I could get into.
Yeah, I think I might do that one too, just to make sure that it's kind of keeping track of everything as well.
Yeah,
really neat.
I would like to know more about it.
I mean, they were definitely tugging on heartstrings when they showed that video about how many people's lives were saved.
Yeah,
which was a great way to kind of get into this new movement and heart study.
Yeah. So, there weren't, there really wasn't a lot of features on this watch. I think a lot of people who have the Series 4 may not find a need to upgrade because really you're getting the always on screen and you're getting a compass. That's what else they announced, which is kind of cool. Yeah. They showed it being used as a complication, which was really neat, actually, and it looked like it was live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's always on, and it's using actual magnetic orientation. They're not doing it like digitally or anything. And I think it's really cool on how it can integrate with the map directions app.
Yeah,
so you can kind of see which direction you're pointing in, similar to like what the phone does. So I think that's kind of cool. Personally, for me, it's not enough of a feature upgrade to jump on it myself, but I think for people who have a Series 3, this will be a good upgrade for them. Which I guess then makes it more sense why they kept the 3, but didn't, replace the 5 with the 4, replace the 4 with the 5 rather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Before we move on to the next item announced, we'll talk about this screen that's the Apple Watch Series 5. So I found an article in PC World Australia, and what was kind of shocking to me is that this LPTO display, we mentioned that earlier. That's
the fancy new display.
Yeah. So apparently it's on the Apple Watch Series 4.
What?
Which I found completely shocking, because at least that's what this article is claiming, that the same technology called LPTO is in the Apple Watch Series 4. And that's definitely shocking, because why don't we have an always on face now?
Yeah.
So
they must be doing some weird hardware adjustment, so probably for battery management.
Yeah.
Probably some different architecture in there that's allowing the new one to pull it up easier.
Yeah, I almost wonder if there's a different battery in the Series 5, but it seems like they would have touted that. They did tout that it has the same 18-hour all-day battery life as the Series 4, even with the always-on screen.
So, I'd be interested in, I wonder if maybe they'll push an update or something where the 4 can get it at the sacrifice of battery.
I wish they would.
Make the choice.
I could live without the compass. Although I was going to get a cellular model.
Yeah.
This time, probably not sign up for any service, but I would just like to have that available. Oh, before I forget too, is they mentioned that now, remember how that story we covered where the guy called emergency services, his phone,
even though he didn't have service.
Yeah. So they're broadening that into other countries. I almost left that out. I forget how many countries. Yeah. So now that's pretty cool, because the ability to just call emergency in any country, because that's pretty cool, because usually you have to research that and find out what it's not going to be 911
right
in most countries. So this is really cool. I mean, that's going to be excellent.
I mean, we do travel a lot. That is a little bit compelling. Of an idea. But.
Yeah, I could live without the compass, but I do want those things. I don't travel a lot, but I may have to travel to a factory overseas possibly someday.
Yeah. Speaking of the compass, though, I did see another article about a complication that may arise with this compass.
Yeah. So, let me just mention one thing about this refresh rate, and then we'll cover that. But in this article, they say if it's idle, the only real need to refresh is just once a minute, which is pretty cool. I guess that's how they save power on that screen.
It makes sense. Once a minute, you have to it has to adjust every minute to keep the time accurate.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see the once a minute on an activity screen, because I don't. Yeah, that kind of doesn't make sense to me.
Well, maybe on those it's probably refreshing more often. But if you're not using one of those things where you're actually checking it, then it's just going to keep it. And I will say, I have noticed where at times where if I'm like eating or something, the screen turning on and off, on and off, on and off. I don't know if I'm just moving my arm around too much.
Yeah.
Or what. But sometimes it can be distracting.
Yeah.
So that is kind of nice about the always on, is it's always on.
I could see a lot of things they could possibly do in their next operating system, not the one that's coming out this Friday or Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be cool, because I could see this actually saving a lot of battery, because at work, I don't see that I would even have a need for it ever to be full on.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dim. Yeah. That light. Yeah.
I just, there's so much lighting there in that office that I'm working in, that I don't see why I would actually need it to come on bright. So it'd be cool to maybe have the option of turning it off, or have it come on at a certain time. Maybe you want it when you get home, something like that. So
yeah, it would be kind of cool if you could set like windows,
Yeah.
So between 9 and 5 it stays low, but maybe it pops on between 12 and 1 during lunch, and then
Yeah.
also on the weekends it's on all the time or something because you're out and about.
Yeah. That would be cool. So hopefully Apple's listening right now.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Easy features.
Yeah. Easy. Just software.
But there's
So,
also an issue there that they need to fix, although I don't know how.
oh, the
With the
compass.
compass.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Tell us
one of
about it.
their core new features of this new fancy watch is this great compass. But like a real compass or a normal compass, if you have a magnetic band, it will disrupt your compass. So, according to this article that I found, I believe on The Verge, some people have been having issues with their compass based off of, or there have been reports of issues with the compass. And I guess Apple has even recommended that if you have a Series 5 and you have a magnetic band, so if you have the Milanese or one of the other bands, that there could be some disruption. So I guess I don't know how bad it would be. But yeah, if you're buying the watch because you wanted the compass, if you're some like park ranger,
Yeah.
then you need to make sure you're not using the metal or the magnetic bands. It's just kind of a funny thing, I think.
Yeah. That is interesting. And, we've mentioned on previous episodes some of the patents that they've had with bands. And it sounds like they're going to have other things that, in those bands that could possibly interfere with the compass.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I wonder if the compass, if it gets updated or adjusted. I wonder if they can do some correction or something.
Yeah.
If it's pairing to a phone or with a cellular tower, can do some triangulation kind of stuff. Maybe they can trick it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a killer feature. It's a compass at the end of the day. So
yeah.
It was kind of funny to think that people who might have bought it didn't think about it, and then all of a sudden they're like, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Crazy. Cool. Well, let's move on to the iPhone 11. So this is the people's iPhone, as some people like Leo Laporte call it, because it's the cheaper one. Now they lowered the price by $50 too. We'll get to the price. It's a pretty darn good phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got some interesting features.
36%
brighter True Tone flash.
Mm-hmm.
Redesigned camera experiences. 4K. 60 frames per second extended dynamic range.
Yeah.
Filming.
2-time optical zoom out. So that's not zoom in.
Yeah, the wide angle lens.
Yeah.
So it still has 2 cameras on the back, like a regular iPhone 10. But it also has, instead of it going like deep in, it goes nice and wide out. So that's super exciting.
Yeah. It looked amazing. The colors looked really cool. It comes in black, green, yellow, purple, red, and white.
Yeah, which is a broad color spectrum for a normal, with their baseline phone like that. But I guess if this is going to replace the XR or the 10R, and they already had that wide array of colors, they had to kind of do something similar here. And the way that they're doing them is really interesting. They're kind of muted back, unless you get the red one. But they're really nice looking. Like that purple is actually pretty nice. It's very subdued. It's not like neon purple or anything. It's like a very soft lilac. So
yeah, and I think I've heard the top selling pre-orders for this phone have been like the purple, and I think the green as well.
The green was nice too. It felt a little.
It's like a light green.
Yeah, like a light mint almost.
Yeah, it was a nice color, but it's a power-packed phone. It's got the same A13 chip that the iPhone 11 Pro has. It's got night mode. Water and dust resistant. all day battery life. Those screens usually get pretty good battery life. Yeah, and it starts at $699, and that's available on the 20th, right? Friday.
And the battery is supposed to last longer than the current 10s.
Okay.
So that's pretty great.
Yeah, it looks like an awesome phone,
but not as good as.
Not as good as. Well, some might say you don't really need this one, but yeah, maybe not as good as the iPhone 11 Pro and the Pro Max. So
what does a Pro get that a regular doesn't?
Yeah, well, they try. Sometimes I think not enough, and am I getting buyer's remorse already because I ordered one? Possibly. I hope I love this phone, but you can always return it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, OLED screen. I guess, wide color gamut, which should have been. That's probably on our existing phones. Yeah, they touted 1200 nits peak brightness. It's a True Tone display, 15% more energy efficient. They call it the Super Retina XDR display, and they claim that the iPhone 11 Pro gets 4 hours more than the iPhone XS. And they claim that the iPhone 11 Pro Max gets 5 more hours than the XS Max.
So I'm excited about that. Because I pre-ordered the Max, and I have a Max, and I didn't have any really issues with the batteries dying. Like, I was able to get a whole day out of it. But occasionally, when you're doing some really processor-intensive stuff, like if I'm playing games or something on my phone, or watching a lot of videos, it will deplete. So getting that extra 5 hours, even if it is an extra only 2 or 3 hours of like hardcore use time, is going to be really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know what's up with my phone because now there's no way it'll last a day, even in dark mode. There's just no way. And, maybe it's running the beta. I feel like the beta just kind of wreaks havoc. That's actually why you and I might have had issues with certain audio files too. The one I sent you didn't play, but it played on my phone. But I've had files that were identical that wouldn't play on my phone.
It was bizarre.
It's weird stuff. I mean, there's still bugs.
It's a beta. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
The Golden Master isn't out just yet, so which is the actual delivery.
And I guess the embargo on these phones has been lifted, so there's already YouTube videos and whatnot out there with people trying the phones, and they're saying that it's still buggy. I get weird autocorrects where it'll try to correct 2 words, and it'll put like a weird word in front of the word.
Weird.
Yeah. So and it's kind of annoying because then you have to go back to the word before you just wrote and fix that one. I don't know where they're getting these weird autocorrects, but anyways,
it'll get situated.
Yeah,
it's just part of their beta, I'm sure.
Yeah. So,
but the big thing about the new Pro,
3 cameras.
Yeah. See, this I think confirms kind of my my theory on how Apple is naming their conventions, and I think that this is meant for content creation.
Yeah.
You get the extra camera, so you have the wide angle lens, the telephoto camera, and the ultra wide camera. And I've seen some early reviews on it. I think it was The Verge who also did a review on it, and they were saying that it was overall the best camera on a smartphone. Performed really, really well in nighttime mode. Got a lot of detail and a lot of the dark areas and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. We got night mode. Well, I mentioned on the 11, but of course it's on the Pro too.
Yeah, but I don't know. The overall, I think, has been really good about it. There's the slow feature, which is silly.
The ad was great.
It was fantastic. Yeah,
it was great because they kind of made fun of it. So it was, the ad was fantastic.
And that's literally the people that are going to be using it, right? It's like, Instagram stars and YouTube people who are going to be doing funny things with it. Um, it's going to be all over TikTok, I bet.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what
Yeah.
it's for. It's just going to be a fun thing, very similar, I think, to the Memoji.
Yeah.
Most people probably won't use it, but there'll be a select few who probably just kill with it.
Yeah, I would like to see some funny videos with it. The first thing that came to my mind is like filming someone headbanging. I would love to see that, just the
That'd
hair
be
like
cool.
flailing about. But I'll definitely try to make some silly videos.
I'm waiting for somebody to do one where they like sneeze.
Oh man. Oh yeah. I'll work on that. If I do one, I'll definitely send it to you first.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's the content I'm here for, man.
Oops, I just scrolled all the way up. But the next thing was the deep fusion. This looked like a kind of a HDR effect.
Yeah.
And it was insane. I had to rewind it a few times when I watched it.
But it takes 9
later.
photos at once.
Yeah, they claimed it takes 4 short images before you even hit the shutter button, and 4 secondary images. Yeah.
So that's interesting. That means that when you open up the camera, it's storing photos like just instantly, and kind of cycling through them and probably just auto erasing over them as it's doing it until you hit the button, and then it takes it, which is not necessarily brand new technology because they had the live photos.
Yeah.
And so the live photo did a very similar thing where it take a couple of frames before and a couple of frames after and make a little animation kind of deal. So they just took that technology and applied it as something that's happening latently in the background. But it allows them to kind of go through and grab the best of all those photos.
Yeah. The photo they showed looked amazing. The guy with the kind of tacky looking sweater. But
had great detail. Great color. Yeah.
And by the way, this actually won't be in the phone this Friday. It's coming later as a software update, probably in later this fall.
Yeah, they probably have to make sure they get all the bugs out so that it's not just constantly storing a whole bunch of video or photo frames.
Yeah,
even when the app's open.
And when Phil Schiller was on stage, he called it computational photography mad science.
Phil's always got fun little lines.
Yeah. So let's see if there's anything else we missed. Well, okay, the back of the phone is like a textured matte finish.
Mm-hmm. Should feel better in the hand.
I see, that'll be good for you. You don't run a case.
Yeah, I got my naked phone.
I actually don't, like, my dad has the iPhone 7, the matte black one, and when you put it in a clear case, it kind of looks a little weird. And I like running clear cases, so I'm not big on any matte finish, but yet I still ordered it. But then again, they're all matte finish. So the 11 and the 11 Pro all have the matte finish on the back.
Yeah, I opted for the Pro and for the
Max, right?
The Pro Max and the midnight green.
Yeah, so. I had a change of heart. I know you. I think you were texting me about it, and I was going to just stick with the white with the silver edges. I like the bright, shiny silver edges, but then nice. I decided, you know what? If I upgrade every year, then whatever. I'll have green for a year.
So, you got the green too?
I did.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. We'll be twins.
Yeah. If you're ever over here, we'll have to make sure and not grab each other's phone. But I'll have a case on mine.
Yours will be the one with the case on it.
I'll write my initials on it really big with a marker. So
that video that they showed too, that they filmed the entire thing on the camera with the race cars in the desert.
Oh yeah,
was really good. And being able to edit live while they're doing it was really cool.
Yeah, they claimed too that it wasn't on like a gimbal or anything, that it was just handheld.
Yeah.
And that the image stabilization handled all that and kept it fluid and smooth.
Yeah, if it's taken, really, really wide angle video, then that does give it a little bit of room to kind of crop in and digitally stabilize everything too. So not only is it, I don't know if it still does the whole, like the physical stabilization that they used to do, where the camera lenses could actually move up and down ever so a little bit. But yeah, with a wide angle, they can just kind of do it digitally too, crop in a little bit, and you won't notice it as much. So
Yeah,
I think this phone is going to create magnificent photos and videos
it better.
um, on a pro level,
Yeah.
so to speak. And so I'm kind of excited for that. I'm excited for the new color, the bigger battery, which also it's a little thicker than the old one, and they did that because of the battery. So
Okay.
going back to something else we had talked about,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this means that future MacBook Pros might be a little bit thicker to account for a better keyboard and a bigger battery, maybe some more ports.
That would, oh man, that would be so great.
I want a MacBook Pro Max.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've mentioned on a previous episode, I wish I could just stick the guts of a new MacBook Pro into this old one and keep all the ports and everything. Like, I'm fine with this big, what looks like a tank now, but I love it,
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, so I don't mind if the phone is a little thicker, by any means.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fine. Like, it's going to be so minute.
Yeah. So
Pricing on it also wasn't anything crazy different. So the standard size 11 Pro is $999, and then the Pro Max is $1099.
yeah.
64 gigs is a little small. I saw some people complaining for
Yeah.
a Pro series.
I've
But honestly, I offload a lot of things into iCloud anyways now. I don't store a lot on my phone. So
I still think it should start at 128 for a Pro phone. I would have to agree with those articles. I would love to see them keep it at the same price too, but starting at 64, like when I get a 64, I max it out, every time. So I had to do the 256.
Oh, so you went big.
Yeah, but I had to. I can't. That's what I did last year too. So my current phone is 256. That's why I wish they'd do 128. And they do it in the iPhone 11, but not the Pro.
Oh.
So, yeah, and so they're keeping the 10R in the line, and that's starting at $599, which is a bargain. And then they're keeping the iPhone 8, and that's starting at just $449.
That's so inexpensive. That's really great. Oh, but you know what I don't see here is an SE.
Oh yeah,
Does that mean it's finally being retired?
I don't know. I thought they announced it at a different time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, maybe they did.
And I don't know. I've heard rumors of it being a little bit larger, but some people still like that form factor a lot.
As a designer, I want it retired.
Yeah.
I'm tired of designing things for such a small screen.
Yeah. So here too, I guess the iPhone 11 Pro has the U1 chip, but I don't think the iPhone 11 has it. And I think that's related to a story that you were going to cover, the Wi-Fi 6. Because I think that's the chip that does the Wi-Fi 6. I'm not
helps support it. Yeah. So this is actually an article from Cnet. It was also on MacRumors, but Wi-Fi 6 launches ahead of the iPhone 11. So people are probably going, "What is Wi-Fi 6? And what happened to Wi-Fi 1 through 5?" The fact is that the 802.11 AC that everyone knows and loves right now is Wi-Fi 5. The powers that be that kind of established the baselines for Wi-Fi have decided to rename it because calling it out as 802.11 AC is kind of a mouthful, and people don't know what that means. And before that, it was 802.11n, and so it makes zero sense of what those naming conventions mean, and people don't know which one came first necessarily. So they're renaming it. Wi-Fi 6 is out now. and the iPhone 11 will be the first Apple product to support it.
Wait,
Um,
is it? It's in the iPhone 11 and the 11 Pro.
yes,
Okay, but they
or so I read.
okay.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's only in the
Uh,
Pro and the Pro Max.
yeah, we'll have to
Because they
research that. I
yeah the U1 chip I think is only in the Pro, right?
Yeah, at least that's what they showed
Hmm.
in that keynote. They didn't show the U1 chip in the iPhone 11. They just showed the A13 Bionic as being in both. So
But
I
so
wonder.
I'm sure there's probably listeners who are going, okay, so what is Wi-Fi 6 and why should I be excited? Um, and so basically, it's offering speeds that are roughly 30% faster than the Wi-Fi 5, with a theoretical maximum transfer speed of about 10 gigabits per second, which is a lot. So they're probably, I think the 30% is being them being conservative. Um, but the actual number you'll ultimately experience will depend on your context, because it's more speed than you're ever going to really have probably need for a single device. Um, but in an environment where there's lots and lots of devices that need to connect to the Wi-Fi, a Wi-Fi 6 router or broadcast will make a huge difference. So if if you have a small house, and you just have like a computer and just an iPhone on your network, you're probably not going to notice any huge difference if you upgraded to Wi-Fi 6. But if you have a place like my place and every little thing is freaking connected to the router, makes a big difference. Like I have the smart TV and the Xbox and the Switch and two computers and two phones and soon to be two iPads and a Nest and two Google Homes. And
Oh
well,
man,
it just keeps going. And all of those things are pinging the router. And so
you
if
need a
multiple
smart
things are,
fridge.
yeah, it wasn't such a pain in the butt to get this one up here.
Well, if it's really
uh,
smart, it could just get itself up there.
yeah, if it could fly up here, it'd be great. Um, but so that's gonna be the future, right? Particularly too if you're into online gaming, Wi-Fi 6 is going to be a big deal for you as well. Uh, so it's designed to allow network access points, like routers, to communicate more efficiently, with more users and devices at once, and in a way that helps them use less power, which is also good. So they'll be able to pack more information into each signal they send, which means they'll be able to communicate with devices faster. Um, and it'll be able to divvy up each individual signal between multiple recipient devices, servicing them all with a single transmission. So it's similar to like a delivery truck that takes
Mm.
multiple stops on the route. That's kind of how your internet's going to go. Instead of, sending connection to device and then back to router, it can kind of go like from router to device, 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 and then back. Uh, but the other thing to keep in mind is that the speed that you're going to get is also dependent on your ISP, your internet service provider.
Yeah.
And so even if you plug in a Wi-Fi 6 router, it's not going to magically speed it up if your connection can't support that. But if you have like a direct fiber connection, you could get speeds that allow for up to 300 megabits per second, and that's only 25% of what a Wi-Fi 6 router can offer. Um, like I said before, it can go up to 10 gigabits, which is huge. Um, but this is the beginning, and so this is why I'm excited, because with the 5G network coming out and this Wi-Fi 6, we're going to be getting internet that's going to be blazing fast very soon, which is going to help keep up with all of this super high def content, and being able to have more and more devices connected to the internet. So this is only the first thing. I was doing some research to see if there are any other devices that Apple has, and there's a part of me that is a smidge hesitant now to buy an iPad Pro because it's not on the Wi-Fi 6. But I don't know. I think I'll still probably pull the trigger. Wi-Fi 5 is still very fast, and even if you're still on a Wi-Fi 5 router, if your ISPs are starting to offer up services that can support Wi-Fi 6, then that means you're just going to max out the Wi-Fi 5, and so you're going to be getting really fast internet too.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Now, is this is connected to the U1 chip, right? and because I've seen articles that they're related, and also that chip and the Wi-Fi 6 makes it easier to airdrop. Like you could just point your phone towards someone with airdrop, and also that this is the U1 chip is specifically in the phone because they have those tile-like tags coming out, but they didn't announce. We're actually going to go over what they didn't announce too. But that's why I've heard that chip is in there in the phone, in the iPhone Pro, 11 Pro.
So I think it's more than just the Wi-Fi 6. It also has to do with, like you said, Bluetooth and other things. So that U1 chip is actually supporting all kinds of connection pieces. So as the name suggests, it sends data across a wider frequency.
Yeah.
So
because there was I don't know the guy's name, but there was a guy that talked about the chip, but it was the other chip, not the U1 chip. It was A13 Bionic, right? Mm-hmm. He went into depth, like serious depth, about the chip.
Right. Yeah. He did. I think there were a lot of people in the room who understood it, and a lot of people watching online whose eyes kind of glazed over, and they're like, "Yeah, cool."
Yeah, and he sounded like he was going to lose his voice at any moment. It's kind of like, "Oh no!" I was kind of biting my nails, like, "No."
He didn't stumble on his words though. He nailed every word, so he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, actually,
I don't know if everyone else did, but he did.
Yeah, it's funny because his voice sounded like it was cracking a little bit, but he just barreled through and really didn't make any mistakes.
Yeah.
As where some of the other people announcing were making mistakes here and there. Not anything major, but here we never make mistakes on this show. Never pronounce a word wrong or anything. Yeah, just listen back.
He did it like 10 times this time.
So all the things they didn't announce. So they didn't announce their Apple tags or tiles. That could be coming if they do an October event. Mm-hmm. The photo reframing, I almost, because we're looking at an article here from Macworld where they have everything Apple didn't announce listed, but the photo reframing, I feel like that was kind of misinterpreted, because you kind of get that with the Pro, the 11 Pro, the iPhone 11 Pro. I mean, you can pick different size. I think what they're saying is that it was supposed to be automatic, like if someone was slightly out of frame, that it would just adjust. So I don't know. I mean,
it could be a software or feature update, or easily something someone does, a photo app that they develop themselves, where if you take a photo with the non-ultra wide, it automatically also takes the ultra wide and can add in those people.
Yeah, I feel like that's there, I mean, because I would like to try it with a group of people sometime and see if I can kind of fit everyone in to that ultra wide angle, see if it helps at all. Anyways, we didn't get bidirectional wireless charging on the iPhones. I'm not too upset. I mean, I guess it would be handy sometimes. I could see myself at work. I've definitely had times where my AirPods have lost their charge and the phone is, 40% or so, and I like to recharge it at that point.
Yeah.
It would be cool to charge them both at the same time, but I'm not heartbroken over it.
Probably the next one, maybe a 12.
Yeah. I think I'm okay without it. No Apple Pencil support. I don't know why people actually would want that unless they made a smaller Apple Pencil.
Yeah, and then you're starting to get into weird like Palm Pilot territory. I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, or like the Samsung Notes, that have the little compartment for the stylus. I don't know about that. And Steve Jobs would turn in his grave. He probably doesn't even like the pencil. I don't know. I don't know if that's really something we need. I mean, maybe it would come to the iPhone Pro sometime. But I just couldn't see carrying around a long pencil with a short phone. It just seems
Yeah.
kind of awkward to me. And then, on the iPad Pro, you can stick the pencil to the side of the iPad. That would be awkward on a phone.
I mean, I guess
So
if you have
it was
the
smaller,
Max, if you have the Max, it's about the size of like a small notepad, that like an old detective would be writing in. But I don't know why I would need to physically write with it. I would rather just be typing in it. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. I think that's kind of one of those things that people were like, "Oh, it just seems easy, just do it," but it's not necessary.
yeah. So we also didn't get sleep tracking on the Apple Watch. That kind of bums me, but I can also see where they're probably testing it, but it just wasn't ready.
Yeah,
Because I've mentioned I use sleep tracking apps, and I don't feel like any of them are accurate.
mm-hmm.
And I would love, if I have to wait for Apple to do this, it's fine if they can make it really accurate, and a little more in depth than these apps do. That would be great. And it would be worth the wait to me.
Yeah, and I would rather Apple maintain their, supremacy about a thing we put out is a great thing than them start pushing things a little too early. They've been getting a little reckless with some of the things, like we were talking about the beta, but still with the beta, you give them a little bit of some slack because it is a beta.
Yeah.
But if it's not out, then it means that it wasn't performing the way that they wanted, and it's probably better that it's not out because it's not going to do what we want it to. So
Yeah. This part of the article, I actually don't know what that is. The Rose sensor coprocessor. Are you familiar with that? I am not. I haven't even heard that.
I guess it was supposed to process more types of sensors, including ultra wideband radio. Although we got the U1.
Yeah. I didn't know that we were expecting this one too. I've never heard of it.
What's interesting, it says maybe Rose is part of the iPhone 11 and simply not specified by Apple.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, the company did mention the M series motion coprocessors when they're new, but hasn't called them out in the last few years. So it may just be that it's a thing that they had and it wasn't exciting enough to really kind of make part of the keynote.
Yeah.
So it's part of their secret sauce, and they're like, it's there, but we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah. We also didn't get a smaller notch on the iPhones.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, it's
I still
weird.
don't understand why people are mad about the notch.
I hated it at first.
I don't even see it anymore personally.
I don't see it anymore either. I never notice it. I know some phones are doing just a little circle. They call it like a hole punch.
I don't know if that's any better personally.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about it.
That extra 20 pixels above it and around it, is it really that much better? Like I don't know, guys.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. And we didn't get an upgraded Apple TV, which I didn't know we were expecting either. But that could come at a October event.
I actually thought we might, because just because they're going to be talking about was expecting arcade, and then they'll be talking about some updated something or another. But probably in October, if they do another one, maybe they'll talk about Apple TVs, the little tile sensors, and then probably another like HomePod deal or something like that. Some more home kind of features. I'd be interested to see all those things kind of sinking together.
Yeah, I had heard rumors too regarding Apple TV of a little, like dongle type thing. Because
like a Chromecast.
Chromecast. The thing is, it sounded plausible when they were just talking about Apple TV Plus, like that's totally doable. But then when it comes to gaming, I don't know that you would have enough power, and they're really pushing Apple Arcade. And that would just,
Though
I personally would not spend the money for a device like that if you couldn't do Apple Arcade on it, and that would just
yeah.
be tough, you know.
Well, but if the device paired to your phone and used the processor on your phone to run it, and it was similar to like just AirPlay mirroring, then it could probably work. So they could offer some kind of a little thing like that, where it's like if you have an iPhone 11, then this device works to do, Apple Arcade and other things because it piggybacks off of the processing power of your phone.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's, if there's really profit in it for them. I think it's probably better to just keep making the standard Apple TVs.
Yeah.
Make sure that everything works really well with or without an iPhone floating around the house. Especially too if you're going to be able to use different controllers. I don't know if I could play an Apple Arcade game on my iPhone and then have a Xbox controller hooked up to it. I think that might be a feature that's only for the Apple TV or something. I don't know. Though. I have to do more research.
Yeah. Well, anything else that we may have left out of this event? I think
we didn't get any glasses, and I'm mad.
Oh, I have a conspiracy theory for that.
Okay.
I think Tim Cook's already wearing them.
Oh, he's been having. He's
look
had
at his glasses
for a while.
They look a little. What would you call that style? I mean, it looks like a matte gray.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you remember his glasses, but they just have like a matte gray frame at the top. So my theory is he's already wearing them.
I don't know. I see if I find a photo of him at the keynote.
Just type in Tim Apple. That's his name from now on.
It would be kind of interesting. That would totally be a thing that they do. Or they're like, we actually have had it. They've had him out in the open for a while now.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of did that with the watch. Like he had it under his sleeve.
Yeah.
For the announcement. So I don't know. I mean, what better way to test it? Have the CEO wear them all the time.
One thing I did notice when they were talking about the Apple Watch 5 is they didn't have one of the presenters wearing it because the watch went dark.
Oh, all these announcements. They usually have a lot of people wearing Apple Watches, and I don't know if they give people Apple Watches, but it looked like half and half.
Yeah, some people have the new ones and the old ones.
Yeah, some of them had the always on display and some didn't. But it almost, it was probably more that didn't. But a few of them did, which was interesting. Yeah.
It might have been people who they gifted them a 5, and people who, like Phil or whatever. I think he might have been one of the ones I saw that seemed like he had a 4 on. Because as soon as they talked about the always on, I started looking at people's wrists to see if they were wearing them. And some people, they had a dark watch on.
Yeah.
I don't know about your conspiracy, man. His frames are kind of small. I'm watching
there's a space up above. I mean, they would have to make them really slick.
Yeah.
Is it the same glasses he was wearing for this announcement? Like a gray?
Actually, no, this is the wrong.
Yeah.
It's the wrong video.
I don't know, man.
WWDC. This isn't the keynote.
Yeah, you'd have to look at the last one. I even told my fiance that. I think he's wearing them right now. Yeah. Well, that's probably about it for everything that was announced at that event.
It was a good keynote.
We
jam-packed a lot in there again.
Yeah, and we don't have any picks for this episode or any for your entertainment videos.
My pick is going to be an iPhone 11 Pro.
Yeah, I was just going to say our picks are buy yourself something for Christmas. Buy yourself an iPhone 11, an iPhone 11 Pro, any of these, an Apple Watch Series 5. Buy yourself something. That's our picks.
Well, I think our next one, we should have our devices in hand so we can give some first-person reactions to the new ones.
Yeah.
We'll see if Kevin Kep is. or if you got rid of it and went back to your 10s.
Yeah. Well, people, yeah, just go out and buy something for yourself. If you're a man and you're married, and your wife asks, why are you buying this? Because we told you it's okay.
Yeah. The Apple Watcher said it was okay, so go for it.
Yeah. So go for it. Treat yourself.
You can send all hate mail to Kevin at...
Yeah. Well, that's it for this episode of the Apple Watchers. Read all the stories we've covered and more stories on Flipboard, a link provided in the show notes. Reach out to us on Twitter @WatchersTweet if you have any suggestions or stories you'd like us to cover. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcast. You can even ask your smart speaker to play the Apple Watchers podcast. Please subscribe and rate us wherever you listen. And thank you so much for listening. Until the next episode, I hope the only complications in your life are the ones on the face of your Apple Watch.